This Express Training Bites broadcast is brought to you by Promo Journal, a division of Promo Corner. Promo Journal provides fresh, daily content from industry thought leaders, blogs, videos, product features, and live content all in one convenient location. Weekly advertising opportunities are available. Contact sales at promocorner.com to get your message seen.
This is Express Training Bites. I am Brandon Petrich, the digital media director at Promo Corner. And with me, I have another Brandon, Brandon Samuel, who is the account manager or one of many account managers over at commonsku. And today we're going to be talking to you guys and kind of having a quick little conversation here about how you can streamline your business using a CRM. So Brandon, how you doing, man?
Doing pretty well. I got the kids at home for the past few days. So, CRM has been an incredibly important piece as my team has had to dive in and help out a bit. So, it's awesome. A timely conversation.
So CRM, not only can it manage your business, but maybe your family life too. That's fantastic. Yeah. I love it. All right. So I am going to jump right into this because we have a massive general question right off the bat. You and I talk CRM all the time with people from all over the industry, right? And that's probably the number one question that I see all the time on Promotional Products Professionals page is what's the best CRM for our industry? And obviously there's the generic answer, whichever one you're going to use, but then there's a much more detailed answer in that. But the other question I get all the time is what the heck is CRM? What does that mean? So Brandon, while I'm setting up the live chats on the site, and guys, as you're watching this, if you have any questions for Brandon, put them in the chat box right over there on the side. I am going to be monitoring those live as we kind of talk. So I'm going to let Brandon answer what is a CRM as I set all these up.
Yeah, so CRM, first off, is a client relationship management system. And that's the general term of what it is. And that's exactly what you're doing. You're managing every bit of your customer relationship there. So from taking notes and calls to birthday reminders and anything else related to what that customer is doing, projects that they're working on, having all of that in one spot so you can really have a general overview. And like in my instance where I'm having to have other people jump in, it's a great point where they can come in and see an overview of what that customer is doing and all about, and helps you just free up mind space. So that's the biggest piece there, I think.
I love that, freeing up the mind space, right? We bog everything down, and we're always as small businesses, as most distributors are in this industry, and even salespeople, they're their own little small business inside of a bigger business. There's so many hats you have to wear, and it's so cool that the CRM allows you to have that mind space to be in the hat that you have to wear at that point in time. So building a pipeline and maintaining a pipeline in sales is probably one of the hardest things to do as a salesperson, whether you're the owner of a distributorship or a salesperson in a distributorship or just sales in general. How can a CRM help you manage the pipeline for sales?
Well, I believe that we're all in sales and, in some level, regardless of what your position is, and really the thing to help you in that managing sales piece is just by having that personal relationship. So I believe that one big thing with distributors, especially, the small business distributors in our industry, is that personal connection with their customers. And that's what separates you from everybody else. And the reason why you are, where you are today, but it has to be something that's scalable. And so that's what the CRM ultimately allows you to do is, again, that mind space where you're trying to have a very personal relationship. But if you're anything like me, you're just constantly turning, trying to think of different things, and you want to be in that conversation, but you don't, you need a tool to be able to go in and see what happened last time, or to give you those reminders and things so you don't fall off track. Yeah,
that is awesome. I mean, and that's so the hardest part too. I mean, is like you said, just staying on track. Like, where is the good customer? Where's the one that said, "Hey, can you call me in 6 months?" Or, "Hey, I don't need anything for 2 weeks." Those things we do in those everyday conversations that we may think we're going to remember, but then all of a sudden our daughters need to be fed, our girlfriends need to be held, we need to go play golf, whatever, something goes and and distracts us from our day and from our sales, and we forget that piece. So that CRM can absolutely help you manage. And that's, I mean, it's built right into the name, right? It's the customer relationship manager. So you're managing that pipeline, managing that relationship. So have you, is there a tool out there? Is there something that you kind of do? And kind of a background, guys, just to make sure that this isn't just some guy I picked out. So Brandon is actually the account manager over at at commonsku, and that's what commonsku does. So they are a CRM. And so that's why he does kind of know, and way more than just a CRM, but they do have that component built in. But that's why he's knowledgeable about this stuff. So are there specific tools or specific things that people can do in any CRM they choose, even commonsku, that can help them manage their pipeline just a little bit better?
Yeah, it's definitely have something. And, the old adage, the thing that you'll use. Well, it is true. And especially for salespeople, because, we're notoriously all over the place, I believe. But, it's in any of those platforms, it's just keeping really good notes, things that you're going to remember. It doesn't have to be this detailed, whatever. It's that little piece that jogs your memory, and to do reminders. So every single time you have an interaction with a customer, just set a task for, the next interaction. And if you can do that consistently, you are going to outperform, the vast majority out there, because they're not doing that. And it's something that simple, which you can literally do in almost any platform. We make it nice and easy in commonsku, of course, and being able to relate in things like your jobs and projects that you're working on, and directly without having to rekey that. It's the same kind of thing, but being able to put that information in is huge. And it's such a small piece that makes you way different than a lot out there. Yep. Surprisingly different.
Oh, no. And that's fantastic. I mean, I used NetSuite when I was a supplier rep. And so that thing's massive, right? And there's notes, it logs your phone calls, it logs your emails. One of the really cool tools that I've seen in some of the CRMs, and including commonsku's, is the ability to be able to prospect and put in like virtual samples and spec samples, and like things that you've done, and like even physical samples, put pictures or notes or anything on stuff that you've done to kind of manage that relationship, so that you can remember what you did too when you go back and you call that customer again or follow up with them, because you get this note to follow up with them. You're like, what am I supposed to follow up on about? And you go back into your CRM and there it is. And it's really nice too, visually, to be able to see some of those prospecting tools out there. I mean, are there? Go ahead.
I was just gonna, that's another point of when you are reviewing your technology suites and the CRM, having that industry specific kind of thing is really vital, because it's tying in those things like your presentations and virtuals, and it understands the industry, it understands your business. And that's where we try to be at commonsku. I was just listening to this podcast actually with the CEO of what is it? Anyway, shit, I can't remember. Anywho, so but he was talking about, we got our customers because we get our customers. And so that's where I think that you get something in the industry that is that specific tool around, your CRM. And it doesn't have to be this big, robust, overboard kind of thing. It can be something that's relatively simple. Again, as long as it works. But yeah,
that's it. As long as it works, man. KISS, right? Keep it simple, stupid. Like, just do that. And I think that, like, if there's too many buttons, if there's too much going on, if there's so many options, you're not going to choose one, right? You're like, oh my gosh, there's too much going on, I'd rather go take a nap. So I keep it simple. I love that. We're going to kind of talk here real quick. We got some people commenting. Thank you to everybody who is watching right now. Jessica Onion says she loves the swag sign behind you. We'll talk a little bit about that at the end. Nadav Raviv jumps in, and he didn't say it, but I know he's thinking it. We're his two favorite Brandons he's ever known. So
Yes,
that is
for
absolutely
sure.
for sure. Oh no, I think we got your boss in here watching. Samantha Cage jumps in and says, "Hi, Brandon."
Yeah. Sure. Hey.
Hey, yeah, I'm working. That is awesome. And then Jessica Onions is also my little partner in crime in the back, and she is taking tidbits from what we are talking about and dropping in some really good tips. So you guys, if you're watching this later, go back into the comment section and check these out. She loves the quote you just gave. We got our customers because we get our customers. That is fantastic. So we're going to keep kind of moving on here real quick. Keep this thing going. Managing orders. So a CRM can build your pipeline, get you to that point that there is an order, and then you physically have to go do that sale, and you make the sale. And now can the CRM and what are tools that are in a CRM to kind of help you manage orders?
Yeah, and again, I think that that's something great for an industry specific kind of thing. So there are, some other tools like, your NetSuite and your HubSpot out there that can help you in those order management kind of piece. But that, the industry specific thing understands the intricacies of this business, how many print locations, all of those kind of things. Mm-hmm. And so that's essentially the next stage in that CRM. So being able to take that order or that presentation and converting it over into your sales order for the client to approve. Mm-hmm. And when it is that connected piece, you're getting the information all tracked and logged into that CRM automatically. And so that's the view that we take is that even if you are that person that is just, I don't use the CRM at all, which shame on you first off, but just being able to have those records that are automatically being kept around your order, what's approved, what's not approved, where things stand, to really have a grasp on, what is in your pipeline and, what that's looking like. Are you going to close, $5,000 worth of orders this week, or, what does that ultimately look like? And so that's where, that piece of the equation comes in. So
you mentioned something a lot, and I think it needs to be hit here is industry specific, because that is something that you guys have done at commonsku, and that's where you can still use another CRM that kind of understands the industry, but maybe you don't have the plugins. But being able to work directly with suppliers that are built into the system already too, is that something that commonsku has that maybe pushes a little bit further into the industry and pushes that productivity for distributors?
Yeah, absolutely. Having those, that connection with suppliers, because the suppliers are our partners. They're the product experts in the industry, and so that's one thing that we really lean into even heavier, is that being able to lean on your suppliers to have product ideas. You come up with the ideation of how you're going to achieve your client's goals, and then being able to have that supplier say, hey, this is a cool product that may help in that area. And so having that relationship is critical. And so that's just another piece of maybe it's SRM, supplier relationship management. So being able to have that connected in is just amazing, because you can talk directly with those suppliers, like in our app, send off a request for information. And one of the coolest things is we do have this ability to collaborate directly with your supplier. So you can send off a quick message to them. So now you're working on X projects, golf outing, 500 units. This is the date that it needs. What do you guys suggest? And send that off. And today, with the inventory and supply chain struggles and all of those, really painful pieces that, I know so many distributors are suffering through, it's now saying, hey, what do you guys have? And how does this maybe fit into that? So they're giving you the ideas of what can be achieved, versus you going through and seeing all of these different items and then realizing there's no stock. So now you're spending hours on projects and just totally killing your profit margins.
Oh man. I mean, that's one of the benefits of working in industry specific CRM is you have that direct line of communication. So you can be on top of all of that stuff. And one of the other things that I kind of wanted to bring up about managing orders. I literally, oh my gosh, the PO has always been like a hard point between distributors and suppliers, because every distributor sends in like 30 different POs, or you may get one distributor that sends in a different one every time they order, and there's missing information and all this stuff. And I know that when I talk to a lot of my supplier friends, and when I was on the supplier side, that was one of our biggest pain points, was just even getting the order started correctly with all of the correct information. So if you're using a CRM that is industry specific, that is working directly with those suppliers, then your POs are going to look a lot more uniform and get into production a lot quicker.
Right. Yeah, that's that. And I think that's something that, distributors, and actually I was a former distributor myself, that we forget in that supplier distributor relationship is that, that purchase order is coming in, and if it looks completely different all the time, or there's missing information, not only is that hurting you, taking your project longer, but on the supplier side, it's costing them a lot of money and time. And, a lot of times we're not like, oh, we don't, their profit margin is, their problem. Well, yes and no. I mean, we have to be understanding that if that profit margin starts to decline, our prices are going up, and that's, it all trickles through. So being able to have something that's consistent and industry specific to get that PO off is a vital piece to save them time. And that's something else, like we push really hard into promo standards, and you can have that connection in Common SKU where, you're having those that direct PO from one system right into their, ERP system. So there's no rekeying of anything. I remember I was actually one of the first distributors to use this EPO thing with Starline, actually. And I got the information back that my PO, when it went in, jumped over like 70 other POs that were in. Now, because it goes directly into their system. So that's incredible. Now, at that point in time, inventory wasn't a nightmare. There was a lot of other pieces. It didn't ultimately make that big of a difference, but I know it made a big difference to Starline, just to know. And in today's world, it could make a huge difference. So yeah, it's a pretty cool piece.
That is awesome. Hey, so Jessica, also over in the comment section, you guys, she has just posted the link to promo standards. If you want to learn a little bit more about that and what he is talking about there, that is a big thing to look at. I hope it takes off. I hope it keeps growing like it is. I hope there's more companies like Common SKU that integrate it into their system as well. And speaking, you started talking a little bit about margins and stuff like that. And that's the one thing. How do we keep the lights on, right? So we've built the sales, we've managed the orders. Now, how do we get those all important greenbacks? So how can a CRM help you with billing and receivables? I mean, outside of just kind of keeping on top of everything, I guess that's just about it, but are there specific tools? Are there plugins that you can do for like easier payments, things like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's the a lot of times we don't like the Amazon because we're so fearful that they're going to come in. Well, the thing is that Amazon makes things easy, and they're pushing us to continue that. And so that's, it's kind of like a North Star for Common SKU of like, how do we make it super easy for you to use and for your customer, that client experience? And so when you can put in tools like being able to have a credit card payment, or even, a lot of people are scared to do like a pre-invoice, having that 100% upfront deposit in. I would lean into that so hard, because it's a convenience for your customer to not have to worry about it. And we don't think about it that way. We think about, oh, well, we got to bill them later because of shipping and all that stuff. It doesn't matter, because ultimately whether you quoted something at $3 and then it comes in at, $3.50, chances are you're going to eat the 50 cents because you quoted it wrong. So, so it doesn't really matter in the end. It just makes things easier. But that's where another piece of it all being connected into your CRM to speed up that process for your customer, and any just fractional second that we can take off of an order, and that's going to dramatically increase your profits. It's going to make the client experience so much better. And again, it's going to separate you out from a lot of the competition out there. And when I say competition, I'm not even totally referencing just other distributors. I mean, in the marketing and advertising, community as a whole, that giant piece that we sometimes forget to look at, but it's a different beast. And I think that there's a lot of opportunity there, again, if you can manage it and have that connection, and that's what the CRM can do for you.
That's awesome. I mean, we've got all of that. We've done the order. We've fixed everything up. We've got the money. Now we're looking forward. That's one of my favorite things about a CRM is the forecasting. We talked about it a little bit before, but I want you to kind of tell our distributors and our viewers here today, we all spend so much time working in our business, putting out the fires, trying to make sure everything's managed, making sure that Susie has her break covered, right? All of that stuff that we forget that we need to actually work on our business too. And forecasting is a major part of that. Explain some of the tools or some of the benefits of having a CRM that can help you forecast and look towards the future.
Yeah, it's one of those pieces that is, it's a critical piece. It's something that can't, you can't say, I'm putting out all these fires. You need to just block off that day to go through, or however many days it takes, but to go through all of your clients and, in your CRM, again, just being able to say, okay, this client spent last year, $20,000 with us. What is the overall value of that client beyond that 20,000? Like, where are we at there? And so being able to just say, okay, this is what we can expect. Here's our growth, and what's our growth plan look like with the customer? What do we need to do to get to those next stages? And just being able to document that within that client is a constant reminder as well of, what needs to happen, and how to continue that conversation constantly. Excuse me. And, ultimately it just helps in understanding, what your customer needs are, and then gives you some perspective on where you are currently and how to get where you're going. And, that's what forecasting is. So having those tools, we do have some easy things in Commons Q to be able to just adjust some numbers and see where you are, and some of the reporting and things, so you can see as you go along where things are happening, but and where you are in relation to that forecast. But again, it's just critical to go through those customers, take the time, block it off your calendar. It's probably one of the more important things, and being able to put that into your CRM for that reminder, is it's a big deal.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Nadav put a comment in here. He said, e-com solutions equals shops. So explain, that must be a Common Skew thing.
Yeah. Nadav is one of my favorite people in all the world, by the way.
Yes. Dude, that guy, his hustle is so strong. In fact, I told him one day, I was like, dude, your hustle is sexy AF, man. Like, yeah, I just admire you.
Yeah, he's an incredibly inspirational guy. Every conversation is like, wow, okay. But anyway, his head's getting big. And but yeah, so that's another tool, around shops that we integrate in with. And so that is a big piece right now. And I'm glad he brought it up, because having all of that information, being able to tie in again to your customer is huge. So, in our shop system, it's basically a beautiful type of thing, but it's a couple clicks of a button to, set up. I often, when I'm showing people around, I like to show them the settings page, because it sounds the least sexy thing out there, but it's like, well, the settings page is like, this big. It's check. Okay, that's what I want. And then you have a beautiful shop on the other side. It's crazy. Yeah, so that piece. And then now all of that ties into these new client portals that we have. And again, kind of with that North Star of thinking about the client experience and being able to streamline your time, having all of those connected. So now your customer kind of has their own little CRM built in to have a relationship with you as well. So yeah, it's pretty cool having all of those pieces connect.
Look at that, man. Just helping people take care of their time, take care of their money, take care of their business. And so they can take care of their family and not have to worry about
right.
it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Profit's not a dirty word.
Yeah,
We
no
need it,
kidding.
and so anything we can do to increase that is great. You know, it helps, you know, was it profit feeds families, you know, sales boost egos, whatever it is.
Yep.
Yep.
You know, I heard the best line. I think we were at some convention. We were at one of the Gaylords. I think it was down in Grapevine, down in Texas. And we were having a nice little like happy hour, and one of the sponsors, and I was one of the sponsors soon, we all stood up and we were all talking. One of the ladies gets up and she goes, "Hey, and guys, by the way, when we take you out to dinner tonight, expect us to sell our products. We're not for profit. We're all here to make money. All right, let's do that." And I was just like, yes.
Yeah, exactly. It's okay.
That's so cool. Well, awesome, man. Thank you so much for coming on and talking about CRMs. Now, we talked a lot about Common SKU. There's a bunch of information out there, and probably the best guy to call to get all that information would be you. So Brandon, how can people get a hold of you so that they can ask you more questions to see if the CRM and the options and all of the tools that Common SKU has will be good for them?
Yeah, so Brandon at commonsku.com is a great way, through email. You can also just go onto the site. We have a little chat bot on there. So commonsku.com, bounce in, and it'll rotate through one of our account managers, and we'll jump in. That's usually a pretty quick response there too. Or you can call me. It's my goodness, 437-703-6337. Yeah, so those are all great ways.
Awesome.
I'm carrier pigeon, whatever you want to send over. We're happy to chat.
Yeah, I guess the carrier pigeon doesn't have to worry about customs, so they'll get right into Common
Right,
SKU
yeah,
HQ,
exactly.
right? So
yeah, we're actually looking at that to get things from China over now via carrier. Turns out they can't fly that far. We've had a lot of tragedy. God. It's not good.
It's not good. No pigeons were harmed in the testing of that, by the way. No, I'm kidding. No, that's awesome, man. Great conversation. Actually, I want to get to one last thing. I know your voice is going. I want to get this out before it completely dies on you. But Jessica did bring up that swag sign in the back. What's the story behind that thing, man?
Yeah, so it's just I created it one day. I've been in this industry for so long, and I do like making a little bit of artwork, and so I created that, and I wanted to put it up upstairs. My office is down here in the basement, and my wife said, "No, that's not gonna." It's not going to happen. So here it is. And it's fantastic. I get a lot of compliments on it. So I really, thanks. It helps my ego there. I'll take it. So yeah.
That's cool.
If anybody wants one, happy to sell them one. They're $5,000 a piece.
Easy money. That's just to cover costs, though. That just covers costs, right?
Yeah. That basically shipping.
Yeah. Oh gosh, isn't that right? Goodness. All right, man. Well, that is going to do it for Express Training Bites. Brandon, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really enjoyed it. And if you have any questions or anything out there, let me know. Happy to answer. Happy to talk about Common SKU, CRM, whatever. Ready to chat.
Awesome. Guys, that's going to do it for Express Training Bites. We will see you next time.